Hey guys, how's it going? Eminem Gaming here, and today I'm back with another video. Briefly, before we get into this, I just want to say, make sure you check out my last video. I'm asking for you guys' help, what you want my channel to become, because my channel is obviously your channel. So, let me know what you want to see for 2016 on my channel, and yeah, make sure to check that out. Let me know either in this comment section, the comment section below, or on PlayStation, or on Twitter at Eminem Gaming 2. The number 2, not the letter. Well, wait, let's get into it. So, I want to do sort of my personal review of the PlayStation for this year. Has it been good? Has it been bad? You speak to someone, it's been the best year in gaming history. You speak to another person, Sony are evil or whatever. You know what I mean? They put no games out here. It's got nothing. Yeah, so, both are kind of wrong, you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say it's the best year ever, but it's certainly a strong year for PlayStation, and I'm going to break that down. I may speak briefly on PlayStation Plus, the games that they give you through PlayStation Plus, and also some other stuff, in general. Just in general, what I think about the year of PlayStation as a whole. So, the main thing I'm going to want to talk about this video is the games. Now, there's been a big thing about PlayStation having no games, which it's not particularly true. But let me just break it down. Some people think it's had a very poor year in terms of exclusive games. Obviously, it's got the multiplats, it's got all that sort of stuff, but so do other platforms. So we'll talk about multiplats. So we're talking about exclusives. Has it had a good year in terms of exclusives? Well, we're going to break things down into sort of kind of 4 categories. Okay, so the main one, the big one, is the AAA games. Okay, now this is why I broke it down into 4 categories, guys, is because really it should just be one, but people don't like to count remasters as AAA games for some reason, even though they are. What can I say? But we're going to put a separate sort of thing for the remasters. So we're not putting remakes in there though. Big difference between a remake and a remaster. So, first of all, it's had, just give you facts here, guys. I don't like saying facts, but it's had 4 AAA games this year, PlayStation. It's had The Order 1886. It's had MLB The Show. It's had Until Dawn and Bloodborne, which I'm not going to go too much on Bloodborne because it'd be the whole video. Do you know what I'm saying? If I get carried away with Bloodborne, I think a really strong lineup. But I just want to say this to anyone who's thinking now, maybe I'm a bit biased. I am. I'm not saying I'm not, but I will just say it's not the best lineup ever for PlayStation. Let's just be honest here. There has been, obviously, like I say, much better years in the past. And in terms of for PlayStation standards, now this is something I kind of debate between myself when I say this, is it bad for PlayStation standards, or is it usual for PlayStation standards? Now, if you didn't know, the PS3, the PS2 and the PS1, they were dropping a game every other week. Do you know what I'm saying? They were dropping, you look at PS2, it has the biggest library, I think, ever. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe Steam now, but, it's got a big one for a console. It's got a big, massive library. Do you know what I mean? So, that's that. Last generation, they were dropping, like I say, AAA games, every month, every week. You know what I mean? It was crazy. And this generation, they've kind of been more, say, smart savvy about it, putting games out at smart times to maximize sales, all that good stuff. But Was that intentional, or is that what they did with the PS3? Because if you look at the PS3 lineup, I'm not too sure about the PS1 or PS2, don't quote me on that, guys, but if you look at the PlayStation 3 lineup, the first 2 years weren't that strong. Do you know what I'm saying? Because these games take so long to make, you know, it wasn't that strong. So, is it the fact that the games, it's poor, PlayStation doesn't care about their fans and all this, or is it just the fact they taking their time on these games and it's exactly what happened last generation? I think it's more, I kind of switch between the two. I'm not too sure. Well, I don't think they hate their fans, you know, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is I don't know if they were unprepared for this generation or if it's just normal sort of behaviour for PlayStation. I'm not too sure, guys. But that's enough rambling about that. So I'm going to talk about the so-called opposition, the Xbox One, the biggest opposition, because they've got kind of, you know, the biggest share in terms of the console market, apart from the PlayStation, which is leading nearly 2-1. Do you know what I'm saying? But you know, let's talk about the games they had. So AAA games, okay, are Gears of War, which some people will deny because it's not technically a $60 game. It's like a $40 game, $30 game, something like that. But nonetheless, it's a big name, it's a big budget game, and it's a well advertised game. So for that, Gears of War has to be classed as a AAA game. I'm sorry, it has to be. I can't even damage control it to make it look like it isn't. So then you got Forza Motorsport 6, cool game. I mean, I don't like racing games, so for me it doesn't mean anything. But cool game, well reviewed. So I'll take the review scores for what it is from people who actually like racing games. So yeah, that you had Halo 5, which I got it free with my Xbox One, and I did not like it at all. Graphics are not that great. The story's bad. I mean, it's bad. I'm sorry, guys. I can't damage control this. I'm not glad. I wanted Halo 5 to be good. It was kind of... Well, when I fought the boss for the 5th, 6th time in a row, I thought, I'm done, man. I did finish the game, and it was an ordeal. Saying it was 4 hours, it shouldn't feel like a task. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but the online's really good. Really good. Honestly, guys, I don't like shooters. But it's a really good online shooter. So yeah, if you're just into shooters online, you don't care about story at all, yeah, pick it up. It's worth it, man. And then you got Rise of the Tomb Raider, cool game. Had a few problems with it. Now I look back on it, I was really kind in my review. I was watching someone else's video, and it kind of brought to light the glaring problem that I missed. Basically, the second section of the game is basically copy and paste of, copy and pasting each other. You go up a hill, then you go back down a hill, you fight some enemies, you talk to some people, and then rinse and repeat for the last, and it had a poor fight at the end. But overall, a really good game. Overall, from the start, all the side quests and all that, I can't complain. Definitely like an 8.5, sorry, out of 10. And then you got, I'm just going to go quickly, I'm not going to go into detail about the other games. You got IDARB, you got Ori and the Blind Forest. I'm not reading this off a list, I just know, I checked before. You had Rare Replay and State of Decay Remaster. Okay, pretty strong year, I'd say, definitely with, Tomb Raider, Halo, Gears and all that sort of stuff. Definitely a strong year, in my opinion. And some cool indie games. I thought Ori was pretty good. I thought, well, I didn't play IDARB, so I can't say either way on that, but it looked pretty fun. State of Decay, I don't know too much about. People say it's pretty good. But on the PlayStation side, now I don't know all of them. I'm going to leave a lot of games out. I'm just going to set the ones, like I say, I know off my top of the head. So it's around about 8 games that Xbox has released this year. So that's, you know, pretty decent. The PlayStation's released obviously their 4 AAA games, and then they had Tearaway Unfolded, which is actually a port slash remake, but I'm not going to put it under AAA sort of game. Um, you had Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection, which I'm going to put under one game, because you can't buy the game separately on the PS4, so it's got to be put under one. You got Beyond Two Souls Remaster, which is a really, really good game. I'd recommend buying it if you never played it on the PS3. I may even buy it again, I don't know, with Heavy Rain, you know what I mean? But then you got God of War 3 Remaster. A lot of remasters, but it doesn't bother me. I like replaying these games because they're really good games. What can I say? Then you got Rocket League. You had Helldivers. I'm not sure. Then you got like sort of, I'd say, AA games. That's like a different section because they're not AAA games, but they're not like big budget Uncharted sort of games. So, you know, you got your One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. I think it's 4-3. I don't know. I don't really play them, but you know, if you like that sort of thing, you know, definitely. I think people really enjoyed that. You got Toikiden. I don't know what it's called, but you know Toikiden Kiwami. I think that's what it's called. And yeah, it looks a really cool game. I've heard nothing but good about it, so I'm not gonna, really talk too much on that. So I think J-Star Victory versus Plus. Again, it's a game I want to pick up, but it's just like so many games out at the moment, guys. It's like, there's so many games I want to play, so little money. Do you know what I'm saying? But again, so I think that's what I don't even know. I lost count, but that's a lot of games. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of games in a year. Do you know what I mean? So if you've got nothing to play, I'd question, are you really a gamer? Because if you just want to sit and put 85 hours into Bloodborne, you can. If you want to sit and play Until Dawn for about 12 hours, you can. If you want to put 8 hours into The Order, you can. Do you know what I mean? So if you've got nothing to play, I'd be a bit worried. Really, are you, And then you got the amount of multi-plats and the J-Stars and the One Piece and the indie games and all that good stuff. So I mean, there is definitely a lot to play. But I think for PlayStation standards, I think you're going to see more what you expect from PlayStation in 2016. I think I made a video about like 40 games or something that's coming in 2016, and that's a crazy amount of games. So definitely we won't have to worry about that next year. So now I just want to talk about PlayStation Plus. Was it really, was it good value for your money? Okay. Now this is a very tricky thing to talk about because some people say, well, I'm paying for the games, but I question if the online service was free, would you still be paying for PlayStation Plus? To get your discounts, to get your games every month, would you still be doing that? And I don't think the answer would be yes. So technically it's free because you're paying for the online. Let's not kid ourselves here, guys. We aren't paying for the free games. We're actually paying for the online. They could just say, nah, leave it. I'll just I'll give you no games, and you can just have the online, and they'd be well entitled to do that because that's what the PlayStation Plus is there for. They give you a few knickknacks and benefits to get more people on. Do you know what I mean? They get more people on. But it's like one of those things. I just think I don't see how you can moan it. I mean, people find a way. You don't need to worry about that. But I just can't see in my mind why you would be upset about it. Now, I understand how you want, occasionally you want, your AAA games for free. And we had a few, we had, I think, did Infamous come out? Infamous First Light come out this year? I'm not too sure, guys. I think it did come out this year, so that's technically a AAA game. I don't know about that actually, because it is like sort of an expansion thing. So I'm not too sure, guys. It's kind of a standalone thing. Um, but the way I look at it, it's, these are free games, and they're giving the sort of, the indie developers actually a chance to, showcase their games. Um, but people then say, on the PS3 when they made it optional, you could play it online for free on the PS3 and get the PlayStation Plus games, which is true. And they were giving you AAA game after AAA game. It's true, but the PlayStation 4 has a backlog of, at this moment, 2 years. 2 years of AAA games, okay? The PlayStation 3, on the other hand, had a backlog of 7 years of games, and it only just come out. So, of course, it's going to be better. I think definitely in a couple of years you'll see it picking up. But there's still people who are buying Call of Duty Ghosts. There's still people who are buying these, games that have only really just come out. 2 years is not that long. It won't be too long until you start seeing, games put on there. But it's just, PlayStation. It wouldn't be smart to, say to Rockstar, "Oh, we'll give you 100 million, right, and we'll put GTA 3 on our console for a month." Of course, Rockstar are going to accept that, but they're not going to make any money from that, because these games have to be bought. They have to buy the publishing rights, be able to put it for free. Okay, the companies that the games come from are paid to use their game. They are paid. I don't know how much. That's not for me to know. But they are paid anyway. And we pay what? I think in the UK it's about £40 a year. I mean, really, how can we expect, AAA Call of Duties and all this when we're only really paying £40 a year? Now, I'm not saying really in the perfect world we wouldn't pay at all. But in the perfect world, not only would we not pay, we'd still get the free games, and also they'd all be AAA. But that's not really how things work. I think it's been a strong year. Personally, I think there's been a lot of games that I probably never have touched if they weren't on PlayStation Plus. I'm not going to sit here and say I bought all of them. But Rocket League was a really good game, platinum that. You had Grow Home, that was a pretty decent game. You had games like Mass Effect on the PS3, God of War Ascension on the PS3. There was Geometry Wars, but there was another one, I forgot the name of it. Freedom Wars, that's it, on the PS Vita. So you had some pretty decent games, man. A pretty decent year in terms of games on PlayStation Plus. But I think we'll start seeing maybe next year, but probably the year after that. More AAA games. In terms, probably maybe not next year. 2017 we might get Unity, for example. But who really wants that? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's going to be that sort of thing, Personally, I like having new experiences with these games, and yeah, I think I really enjoy some of the games that I've played. Not all of them. Some of them are bad, really bad, but some of them are pretty good, in my opinion. And next month's is going to be really good. If you didn't know, Hardware Rivals is a really fun game, so make sure you download that if you've got PlayStation Plus, because it is a lot of fun. It's an online-based game, cars, shooting, madness. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun. But overall, I think for PlayStation, I'd give it a pretty good year, a solid year. I wouldn't say it was, particularly great. If I'm going to be completely honest, I wouldn't say it's the best year PlayStation's ever had. I wouldn't say it's going to be better than 2016. That's for sure. That's something I can tell you. 2016 is going to be better. But at the same time, really solid. Lots of games to play. And just an overall really good year to be a PlayStation gamer. So, gonna leave this video here, guys. Kind of been rambling on about nonsense for about 20 minutes, but I hope you got the point. They've had a lot of games this year. and a lot of new experiences, and yeah, I've really enjoyed it. So I'll see you guys in a new video very soon.